I'm Denise Waterman for South West London Television here in King George's Park, where we are looking at biodiversity in action with live Shire horses, bringing the community together. There are local people with their dogs. There are schools here with children absolutely in awe of watching these horses doing what they do only too well.
So I oversee a team who looks after all of the parks in Wandsworth. Biodiversity Officer Mick Green has been leading on this project, and he essentially looks after all of the biodiversity in our parks and green spaces across the borough. It's a really, really exciting project that's been funded by Rewild London, and we're creating hay meadows and areas of scrub to improve the habitat in King George's Park for wildlife and pollinators. What was essentially just short mown grass will now be beautiful. We'll have tall grasses, we'll have wildflowers, you'll hear crickets, you'll hear other birds coming in, feeding on the crickets and the other pollinators. So it will completely change how this park feels.
So we have down today with us the wonderful Shire Horses from Operation Centaur. They're helping us create about 3 acres actually of wildflower meadow here in King George's Park. So what we're trying to do here is put a bit of nature into the park for the benefit of everyone who comes down and enjoys it, and also for the insects and birds and everything else that's going to enjoy the meadow that we're putting in.
Operation Centaur has both Shire horses and ridden horses. Because they're so big, you need to have horse sense and know what you're doing with the Shire horses, just because they're twice the size of a normal horse. But they're so calm and placid, they're very relaxed, and you can see them here today. They're not worried about children and noise and traffic and all of those sorts of things. Yeah, so we do this work in a number of different areas, so not just across the royal parks, but a lot of the local councils now have us coming in. It's much easier than having a tractor come in. We can get into smaller spaces. It's much better for the environment, and they do a really good job of working the land in the traditional ways.
Well, Shire horses, they are an amazing tool for a huge number of reasons. Obviously, they're far less impactful to the soils than your more traditional now tractors and heavy machinery. So firstly, they're much gentler on the soil. Secondly, they attract huge numbers of people.
It's also a great way of getting the local community involved, and you can see down today we've got a number of schools, nurseries and young people coming down to enjoy the horses, and it gives us an opportunity to tell them what we're doing here and why it's important, and get them engaged in creating nature on their doorstep, and then in the future being guardians for this space and looking after it.
It's clear to see that this is going to make a huge difference here at King George's Park. I've been passing these areas for the last few weeks, wondering what it's all about. Well, now I know. It's going to make a huge difference to the birds and the bees too. I'm Denise Waterman, and you've been watching South West London Television.